So I started doing my morning skincare this morning, and I realised it was probably a good opportunity to check in on how I'm going with the move to using only Charlotte Tilbury skincare and give you all a bit of an update. I got part of the way through before I thought of doing this. So far I've already cleansed and I've used toner so far. So just a bit of, I suppose, a bit of an update. I did move to purely using Charlotte Tilbury skincare only, and it was going really well for a little while, but then eventually I started to get a lot of hormonal breakouts again. I'm struggling a lot with hormonal breakouts. I've kind of in menopause, I suppose, technically now, and it's been a struggle all through the last couple of years. I've noticed a big shift of sort of that breaking out in this sort of chin section, which I'm fairly certain is hormonal. It's generally not driven by the products that I'm using, but I can tell when I'm using products that are not keeping it at bay, it really shows up worse, I suppose. And unfortunately, moving to only Charlotte Tilbury hasn't been enough to kind of keep it at bay. So I've made some adjustments. I went and had a facial in Melbourne at the new Mecca Burke Street. That was a biologic research facial, and I think that really just highlighted to me that as much as Charlotte Tilbury skincare is really lovely to use, it's kind of, I would say, quite kind of basic, and I think I need more serious stuff at my age and with my skin conditions. So I have made some switches. I've switched to using the Biologic Research Cream Cleanser now. I'm using this nighttime mostly as a second cleanse after removing my makeup, and most of the time in the morning I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Hydrating Cleanser. So that still seems to be working okay as a cleanser. So I've done that this morning. And then the second step that I'm using morning now is still the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Toner. And I like that. I find that that's working nice. It feels like it's a nice and refreshing, and it does feel like it's giving a little bit of toning. So I'm going to continue using that for now. So the next step that I'm still going to keep using is the Charlotte Tilbury Dark Spot Correcting Serum. It's almost finished. I'm holding it up to the light just to see how much is left. I don't think there's that much of this left. I think once this is finished, I'm probably going to go back to using a vitamin C serum, and then I'll see where I get to with vitamin C and niacinamide or B3, B5, one of those sort of serums, I think. This dark spot corrector is nice to use, but I can see that it's not been as effective at getting rid of the hyperpigmentation marks that get left behind after I've had a spot. I can see some that I've had here and some that I've had up here. They're taking a lot longer to sort of fade out than they normally would when I'm using vitamin C. So I'm going to go back to using that. I generally leave a minute or two between each of my serum layers to let them settle in before I put the next one on. So I'm going to come back in a sec. Okay, that's had a second to settle in now, minute or two. I'm still using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Serum. I finished one of the regular size, and I had actually bought one of these bigger jumbo sized ones. It's a nice hydrating serum, so I'll continue using this until it's finished. I'm not sure if I would buy it again. I think if I got my breakouts under control and I was at a place where all I needed was a bit of hydration, I think it would be nice to use, and I would definitely recommend it for that. I'm definitely going to finish the bottle that I've got open. I think I will probably go back to my Medicate B-Hydra, I think it's called. I should have got these out before I started filming. But yeah, I think I'll go back to my Medicate serum after this one's finished. But it's still nice, and I would still recommend it if you just need a good hydrating serum. Okay, I'll give that a minute and come back. Okay, next step for me is always a hydrating mist. I love the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Hydrating Mist, and I will continue using this. I think I've got a few other different brands in my skincare drawer that I'll use. But next time I buy, and when I'm needing to buy again to replenish, it will definitely be the Charlotte Tilbury that I will continue to buy. So a bit of a spritz of that. It's nice. It's The spray itself I quite like too. Sometimes the spray nozzles on hydrating sprays are really aggressive, but this one's nice. It's light, so it's good and dispersed, but it does disperse enough so you can feel that you've got you can feel the wet mist on your skin. Next, I've been going in with the Cryo Recovery Eye Serum in the morning, and I will continue to use this. I quite like it. As you can hear, the tube's starting to run out already. It's definitely cooling, and it's definitely moisturising enough under my makeup. I think I would buy this again. Once this is finished, I've got a couple of other ones that I want to finish up in my drawer that I don't want to go to waste, so I will definitely use those, but I would come back around to this one again. Feels nice. The cool tip of the cool metal tip of the applicator is nice to use as well. But yeah, bit of a massage with that to clear away any puffiness. And then I'm still using Magic Cream as my moisturising step, and I will continue to use that. It's great, especially in the winter. It's a nice primer for under my makeup. It's hydrating enough. I don't think it's making any of my breakouts any worse, so I will continue to use that, and I will continue to buy it. I do have some other moisturisers that I will try and use once I've gotten through my jumbo jar of Magic Cream, just because I don't want them to go to waste. But I think I would continue to buy Magic Cream. I've bought it for years, so I will definitely continue. So they're my skincare steps at the moment. I will leave that for a little bit of time now before I come in with my sunscreen. I had actually bought online the Charlotte Tilbury, what's it called? Invisible UV Flawless and Poreless Primer, which is SPF 50++++++. We can't buy this in Australia, which probably means it's not gone through the Australian sunscreen testing. It was nice. I'm not sure whether or not this was making me break out or not though, so I've actually stopped using it just until I can get all of the breakouts back under control. Once everything's back under control again, I will introduce it again and see if it does cause a bit of breakout. I don't think I would buy this again though. I will stick with my Mecca to Save Face SPF because I love that. The other changes that I've made now also is in the evening, I've started to use every night Biologic Research Lotion P50, and because I'm using that, I've dropped using the dark spot corrector from Charlotte Tilbury. So I think what my plan will be now is to continue using what I've got open and then start to swap back out some of the Charlotte Tilbury items for some of my more regular nighttime and morning serums. I think once I've given Lotion P50 a couple of months just to settle in, I might start going back onto tretinoin again. The two together, though, that's intense, and I think my face might fall off. The recommendation with the Biologic Research is not to use with tretinoin, so I'm going to have a good hard think about which one I continue using between the two of those and which is going to get me the best results. So that's an update. I will come back and let you know if anything changes.